without senior youngster cannot put different perspectives. Probably that will make you understand, realize, and this is not just a budget, it's more than a budget. Oh, this is something that is message that I have to give it to all of you. With this, I want to start the panel discussion by introducing my co-panel members. Dr. S.R.Keshava, a professor and chairman from Department of Economics, Bengaluru University. I thank you, sir, for being a part of this program. I welcome Dr.
Generally, individually, I don't have any opinion about any budget for that matter. If it is good for the people, then as an economics student, it will be good for me too. So going by that perspective, I found this budget as a good one.
Thank you. Now we'll ask to Professor Keshava. In the budget, they're talking about the middle class. If you see, is this middle class budget the first question to you, sir? And secondly, will this budget kickstart the economical growth? Does this budget talks about something called job creation? Does it increases the job creation?
I don't want to dub any budget as a middle class budget, especially this budget, but it's overall impacting every sector of the economy. If I deeply insect each and every affair, then you will be able to understand. Why exactly it is dubbed as middle class budget? For the first time, when in the initial remarks, many of my co-panelists were saying, all these years we were saying about the income tax or about the direct taxes. But all these years I did not see much of the concessions to the direct tax people. So this is the first time I'm saying from the past 11 years, something concrete was done. All these years, Nirmala Sitharaman was cleverly saying, thank you to the honest taxpayers. But at least for the first time, there is something much more concrete for the people who are really honest. So that is the reason why I just said it's a good budget, because it's good for the people. When we speak of the middle class, the very definition of the middle class is not that clear. Some say it is from 2 lakhs to 10 lakhs, some say it is from 5 lakhs to 30 lakhs, and the standard definition accepted by the World Inequality Index and the US-based research commission says it is $2 per day to $10 per day, in case if you earn $2 per day to $10 per day, which roughly comes to around 25,000 to 50,000 per month. So, leaving apart all this middle class, and all of us, generally we say we are all middle class people. So, going by that definition, right, when you say we are all middle class, what benefits them more, right? If you reduce the taxes to them, definitely it will benefit them. So number one. Number two, when we reduce the taxes, what is the benefit to the people? Those who earn it. Now, the purchasing power will definitely increase. When you increase the purchasing power of the individuals, then the demand from those individuals will also increase. When the demand for the products increase, the entire economic ambit of the economic activities will also increase. As simple as that. But of course, when you speak, it will be simple. When you implement it, definitely there will be leakages. I'm not saying there will be no leakages. There's a zero leakage proof. No. There will definitely be the leakage. Savings may be one of the biggest leakage in it. But apart from it also, even by the marginal propensity to consume is 0.5 in this country. Even then, going by the simple multiplier effect, it will be 2 trillion rupees. The government is losing or leaving the money of 1 trillion rupees to the people from the direct tax concession. It means to say, going by simple definition of MPC also, multiplier also, it will be around 2 trillion rupees which will be saved to the people. So 2 trillion rupees is the multiplier effect. So to that extent, economic activities must increase in the economy. And apart from this also, another 2,600 rupees is there with the people because of the indirect tax concessions. Even that also helps the people. So all this, I strongly believe in the countries wherever the tax has been reduced, in whichever country for that matter, there is good amount of case studies for that matter. Whenever tax rates are low, then the compliance is very high. Even I in many forums and even with the many government bodies, I am pleading even let the GST also come down. So only then it will have a complete effect. This is my issue.
Very, very nicely said, sir.
S.R.Keshava said.
I think India has been seen a roller coaster with respect to agriculture and the manufacturing sectors. Since independence, I think you all read the history in your school days. From 1947 till now, we talk more about agriculture, agrarian economy. We talk about more funding on manufacturing sectors. But both the sectors have not created a jobs. Where the concerns are there, sir? Because India has a vision for Viksit Bharat 2047. Do you think our Indian economy is going at the right pace? Or is there anything that we have to do a little more extra efforts not to reach what we call Viksit Bharat for 2047? Because it's not too far, sir. It is only 20 odd years that we have got to reach 2047. So if you are told we have to reach to that, what we have to focus? Because agrarian and the manufacturing sector are the two sectors which create job opportunities. If you don't stress on these things, on the policies, definitely it hamper the growth of a nation. Will it reach to Viksit Bharat? And it's first question. Second thing, all the youngsters are in this room. They will leave the college in another 1 year because they're MBA student. They will be leaving this college and they will be enter the market as a system. They will be in the system and they will be contributed directly, indirectly to Viksit Bharat. What they have to do it? That also you have to discuss.
Basically, when we speak of agriculture, the very first 5-year plan, it was given due importance, 600 crores to those who was invested in the first 5-year plan. That was with the inclusivity factor. No, every economy to begin with was an agrarian economy, same as with America or any of the European countries. But unfortunately in India, we began with agrarian economy and still we are an agrarian economy. I quote unquote, unfortunately is the word which I used. I do agree when my young friend Ramesh is speaking on agriculture as the backbone. But in case if it's a backbone, it's a fractured backbone. Why do I say it's a fractured backbone? Because more number of people are still dependent on agriculture. But over the years, it should have been reduced. In US, once upon a time, 46% were employed with the agriculture. But today, less than 2%, right? 1.8% to be very precise, are in agriculture. They are producing almost, which is sufficient for their country, and even they are exporting the food grains. But in India, that is not happening. After COVID, the number of people who are dependent on agriculture has increased by 2%. Now it is 45%. That's what economic survey is telling us. So 45% of the people are dependent on agriculture, and the amount of contribution to the GDP has come down to 16%. So 46% depending on agriculture, contributing just 16%. This is the cause of worry. Means to say more surplus labor is in agriculture. So you have to shift it, in case if you want to speak of manufacturing growth. And last year's economic survey also gives us the data and how many jobs are created in the manufacturing sector. It is saying 11.5% of the workforce. So it will just say there isn't, one thing is till now we have not created more. Second thing is we can create more. If at all, if you want to be more optimistic, you can say we have more opportunities to create in the manufacturing sector. So train the people from the agriculture sector, those who can come out of that, and probably shift them to the manufacturing sector. So that is the best way of doing it. And when you speak of the employment opportunities, this is the first step for me. Train them, skill them, and employ. When NSS did a survey, it asked the farmers, how many of you are you interested in farming? 60% of them said we are no longer interested in farming. 60% of them said. Because it's no longer a profitable venture for them. So it means to say that more number of people are there, definitely it will not be profitable. So that is number one. Number two, shifting requires a lot of money, a lot of training, a lot of incentives for the people to move from one sector to the other sector. In India, from agrarian sector, we leapfrog to the service sector. When we leapfrog to the service sector, it is quite obvious that ours is more of a jobless growth. Today, in case if many of you are saying, whether we are in doubt whether we get the job or not, even the government of India's economic survey is also telling, among the educators, only 1 out of 2, right? Only 1 out of 2 will be employed. So other people lack. Honestly, they lack. So this is the thing that which all of us should know. And moreover, probably I don't know how many of you saw today's newspaper. our own Narayan Murthy's Infosys has removed this initial placement drive that which it did in the colleges and took some 350 people on the board. All of them they removed. Even after 3 chances, they were unable to complete their assignment. So, what type of quality are we producing is a bigger question. Many of my students here, are MBA. And if I ask them the basic things, they will definitely tell about MBA. But if I speak about the practical application of it, many of them definitely would fail. I can take it for granted. Don't mind otherwise. This is the fact. Whether you speak for the PhD, even with the PhD student, to ask them what is the application of your research, definitely would fail to answer. At least 10 out of 100, at least 10% of them will be able to do good research, 90% of them won't be able to do research. I've been seeing this in the university from almost more than 27 years. So this is the reason that why, on the one hand, skilling is important. On the one hand, skilling is important. On the other hand, we are speaking of quality skill. So both are very, very crucial from the both are very crucial, when you speak on the issues like employment, even the mic also don't work because it is such a debatable and hot issue. And in this budget, for the new employment generation scheme, government has increased the money. What is this new employment generation scheme that which we are speaking of? They have increased from 10,000 crores to 20,000 crores. They are trying to incentivize those who create employment. This is with the micro industries. Though we speak of MSME, it is all about micro industries. Micro industries constitutes around 99.5% of the entire MSME. So when you speak of MSME, it is basically micro industries which are doing the best and the worst also in terms of creating employment. But now, government has taken the lead in giving them the money also. And employment department, like labor and employment department, this year budget allocation is 36,000 crores. For the first time, it has got a huge amount of money. So now the task is to skill the people. So, government thinks, these NGOs which come to the campus, they will give the training. Being the placement officer for quite good number of years in the university, I'm seeing this also. What is the training which they give? How to sit, how to speak, how to write a CV, how to sit, how to speak in the interview. Today we are speaking of the AI. Recently, when they invited me for one of such sessions to deliver a keynote, I was telling them, today the world is all about the AI. AI is as important as the electricity, AI is as important as your internet. In case if you don't teach the basics of them and still you're teaching how to write your CV, ChatGPT would do it within no second. How to write your CV, you just put it, it will give your resume. That creativity is not required now. Creativity in terms of something unique, to bring out your uniqueness, that is where it is required. So probably how best to utilize the AI or big data, blockchain technology, data mining. So this should be taught to our students. And I know fortunately in this budget, 500 crores has been spent, 500 into 4, 2,000 crores. Even Bangalore is getting one AI center. That is another advantage. So probably all of us should take the advantage of those type of center, AI centers. This budget it has been proposed. If we can do that, then things will fall in place. One thing is government initiative, the other thing is our willingness to learn. If you don't participate in it and if you don't want to learn, again all these things will be flopped. So you also should demand and you should also learn. Your willingness is key, crucial for the success of any budget, any government policy for that matter. So my appeal to you is, it is not just about your syllabi which matters today. Syllabi matters only 50%. Another syllabi is, apart from syllabi, what is that you will be doing? How best you can utilize your theory or the practicals which you learn into the market and get the jobs. That is most important. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think some of the academic thoughts which is being told by sir. Work. What kind of work you have to work? You all have expectation. I don't want to work for a 30,000 salary. I want to work for a 60,000 salary. I don't know. I seriously have this thought. But do you think India has a talent deficit, sir?
Don't agree with that. India don't have talent deficit. But this from the 1901, I was reading yesterday the word Ramchandra Jaichamarajendra Air Force lecture when he did it in the Economic Congress 1911 in Mysore. That was for a seminar, I was just going through that. So he, even in 1911, mentions about this, about the idle people who will be unemployed. This is not about the talent deficit. All of you agree when we ask you whether you are talented, yes. Whether you want the job, yes. But are you ready to work hard for it? No.
What kind of a job also?
That is most important. In case if you're not ready to work, then I don't see any bright future among audience. But India, fortunately, is enjoying demographic dividend. During our days, there used to be extreme intelligence, extreme less intelligence. I'm not saying poor students, extremely less intelligence and moderate kind of students. These moderate were the highly successful rate. They were usually 60-70%, though they used to never get first or second rank, but the highly successful bunch was that. Even we have a WhatsApp group of primary students who are all successful, were those moderate bunch. But now you see only two types of students, either the too extreme one or too lazy one. The extreme one will be bumping with the energy. I'm not saying knowledge is same with both of them, but they'll be bumping with energy, they will be doing, they want to do this, they want to do that, they want to do everything on this earth. And if you channelize their energy, they will be highly successful. The other part, they will say, what is the use? We know it is not like your age, generation gap. We know how to earn. We are not dependent on anybody. These kinds of things, they will neither be thinking about their future, not about the country's future. This is the major problem. But that is the reason that why, last budget they were speaking of Kartavya Kal. When they spoke of Kartavya Kal, it's all about the same. Kartavya Kal is doing our work. As a teacher, what is the role that which I have to do, whether I am doing it. As a student, whether you are doing your role. So if all of us do our role perfectly, then India will become Vikasit Bharat. We all want, in case if I ask you, do you want India to be a developed country? All of you will definitely say yes, 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 yes.
I think most common answer to all of us, right about India. India is a developing country. We have been taught about this since our childhood. And the first answer is that only. India is developing country. When will developing become developed country? That is a question mark that we have to answer.
No, that question mark is there with either me and them because we are not working. If all of us work, right, then India will definitely become developed country. Like, take the case of China, which became independent after 2 years after India became independent. They became independent in 1949. South Korea, which became independent in 1948, just exactly 1 year after India. All these three economies were facing similar kind of problems. Corruption was there, rampant poverty was there, similar kind of situation. Too much of casteist groups, right? It was a different problem there. So different regions, everything was a problem there in South Korea and India and of course in China. But in those two countries, people decided, no, we will develop. Development lies in the man's mind. This is what one of the definition development economics we teach for our students. Development lies in the man's mind, in the institution in which it finds the expression. The institutions are there, whether it is developing in our mind. So that is very crucial. In case if it develops, nobody can stop us. Nobody can stop you also. So this is the fact. In case if the day we decide, no, we will, then there is two important things. What I am today, this is what Amartya Sen speaks about the capability approach. What I am today, what I should have been today. Same for me, same for the country. In case if you narrow the gap, what I am today, what I should have been today, if you narrow that gap, keep on thinking on that every day. Keep on thinking on that every day. If you narrow that gap, definitely India will become a developed economy.
Okay, the reason for asking this question was, we were talking about the artificial intelligence and there's always a question mark, will take away our jobs. I mean, you all have a talent. We don't know where the talent is to be used for. I hope the answer, what Sir gave was very appropriate to be able to think about it. So, we talked about MSME as the greater interest, there is a greater implication happening with respect to MSME. So, I just want to ask you, the government is trying to talk about something called credit facility. They told very clearly, better credit facility for the entrepreneurs, MSME who's doing it. And the government is also talking about the collateral free credit. What is collateral free credit? What the student should know about the collateral free credit?
Discuss. I know it will be very tough to listen to somebody in your age.
Anybody, audience can able to follow questions.
Yeah, please. Because
One more request is this academic discussion. Why I'm saying is about this discussion makes you to think, introspect, make you to think in a different perspectives. And you must be thinking, "Ayo, nane madaveka nampa nasti de chala nodkotini. We have this. I have the some other commitment. I will do it." Not like that. You're all a part of the system. You're all part of this, so that we can able to contribute directly, indirectly, one or the other way. Okay. So if you have any question, please raise your hands. We'll be more interactive so that it will not be monotonous that I ask question and somebody has to answer it.
no, for one or two we can take from you, then I will answer. I know it is very tough at your age to sit and listen. I know many of you are captive crowd. If given a chance or opportunity cost, I think, probably you would think something else. Yes, my good friends, anything else? Please do raise. Sumne kutkobedi, aita. Both physically, mentally, if you are here, be here. Otherwise, not get. The madam get attendance course thing, you can walk out. I don't mind. Please do ask. I know you will be discussing more than Nirmala Sitharaman because there are a lot of things to be discussed. Because what will be our future, right? Which movie to go, it's already. So all these things we will be discussing, but please be a little more serious, right? Be physically as well as mentally present wherever you are, either in the movie or here, no matter where you are. Yes?
I have.
Yeah, please.
I'll be audible.
Yeah, good.
Since you mentioned that we didn't have a smooth transition from agrarian background to the service sector. Since we have 3 sectors, the problem with India is we have human resource, we have positive demographic dividend. But why didn't we upskill the sectors to have that positive transition direct from agrarian to service sector? Because a lot of them, because you know that there is surplus amount of people who are underpaid. And it is seasonal. Agriculture is seasonal. And it's a gambling and monsoons are unpredictable and it's going to be a very devastating thing. And we have marginal farmers. We have petty lands where the productivity is not as great as the Punjab farmers which he mentioned and the northern states which have good resources, good water table and other and all of that. So what is the issue with the demographic dividend which we had, which was positive, now slightly falling short of it? How do you...
No, demographic dividend is not falling. It will be there till 2055. Yeah, that let us keep in mind. It will be there up to 2055.
No, the productive ones, the transition.
Yeah. Here, the basic thing, when they were discussing also, both 3 of them did mention this. Reverse migration and migration. Who is shifting from urban area to rural area? No, who are the one?
Those people with elite
those who are educated, those who are technically well, technocrats are shifting.
Yeah, elite people who have the resources.
Who have the resources. Yeah. When they go back, it will be highly successful. That's what now Ramesh is doing. He was here, he went back, he has all the technical aspects with him ready. He can know how to use the technology successful. Those people who came from the rural area in search of jobs, what type of jobs we gave them?
Very menial.
Watchman, security guard, kind of things. Majority of them. So then this doesn't work, again they will go back. That's what happened during
Why
COVID-19.
do we have upskilling at their level?
No, there it happened, but only thing was, they were very, at that point of time, they did not think that they have to learn. Many of them, our literacy rates increased. But they did not become educators. That they were very straight. Many of us, even in this hall, are literates, not educators. Similar kind of thing happened then also. Literacy figures even now, probably 2011 census, which is pending, 2021 census, which is pending. If it happens, you will have 90% literacy. Sure. But are all of us educators? No. So this is the problem that happened in India also. Right? Second plan was the industrial led growth. But thereafter, it was neither industry nor agriculture.
It was mixed.
So probably second and third plan should have been agriculture, first 2, 3, then fourth, fifth, sixth, or first, second agriculture industry again continued with that industry. That they didn't do. That was probably the biggest mistake which we did in our planning period.
And how do you relate that? Did Planning Commission do justice, or Niti Aayog will have more privileges in the coming time? Because they've already replaced. There's no point of talking about Planning
That's the
Commission.
reason.
But we had a fixed plan for 5 years, which was not revised, and the centre would dictate terms to states, and state would indulge it. And
Now also, to some extent, yes. But here, what we wanted was, with the Planning Commission, whatever success and failures of them, all of us know it is the public domain. What success we had, what failure we had also.
how was Niti Aayog impacted? Like when you were
Niti Aayog and Planning Commission cannot be
We'll have a discussion.
It cannot be
We'll not go on discussion.
It cannot be
So probably we'll take that a few more later. Okay.
Yes.
So coming to the manufacturing MSME,
Collateral.
I'll come to collateral. One more thing I'll add on to this so that you can able to talk about these aspects. See, I think as a student, once you complete your graduation, post-graduation, you want to start up your own industry, whatever it is. See, the major problem with MSME is foreign investors are not coming and investing. If at all they invest, they are removing the invest, withdrawing the invest, and they're going elsewhere. Domestic investors are not coming forward to invest in domestic manufacturing companies. Where are the issues? Why this issue has not been addressed? What the government should address this issue?
No, at present, I keep on telling this, uncertainty is the only certainty in the today's world. Thanks to Trump, it has increased and it has intensified. So, the real reason is people want to be there with US now because dollar is gaining. So they just arbitrage. But when it comes to the macroeconomic fundamentals of India, still it is very strong. You look at any indicator of India, it is really doing good. But who are the one who are investing in India? Any investors who invest in India will be calculating where they get higher profits. It is not that they want the welfare of the country, they will come here. Wherever they get higher returns, they will go to that country. Now, all that is towards US, and they're just going and investing it there. They're withdrawing the money from India and going and investing there. When you speak of the private investors after COVID-19, still that confidence among the private investors is not complete. So, if at all, if it does take some more time, that is the reason that why last year budget, you had 11.11, that number, 1111 number was there, 11.11 trillion rupees was spent on infrastructure, capex investment was done. So this year it is just 11.31. So just a marginal rise of 0.3%, right? 0.3%. So that is the reason that why government invested heavily. So to have a forward and backward effect of the government multiplier effect, let the investors from the private sector also come. And interesting figure from the economic survey, I also have to tell this. In the economic survey last year, they are saying about the capital formation from the private investors. So they are saying the private investors are investing, but they are investing more on buildings. They are investing more on buildings rather than on the technology. So these things should have happened, right? Where exactly the private investors are investing, whether they are investing purely on the technology or on the buildings, the clear classification. And moreover, on the intellectual products, the investment is 30%. But on the buildings, it is 120% compared to the previous year. So this is the problem. And moreover, when we speak of the consumption expenditure from the rural areas of the urban areas, it is gradually increasing. We are coming back to the pre-COVID levels. So if this happens, then definitely things will fall in place. And now this whatever the Trump's trumpet shouting across will be there for another 3 or 4 months. Then it will definitely come down, and then the
economic pressure will happen.
Yeah, definitely it will happen.
Now, adding to this, as to the Professor Keshava, with respect to education and health. A few minutes back, we discussed about the education and health with respect to AI. Sir has talking about it. The government was talking about increase of beds in hospital and increase of number of seats in IITs and IIMs and this one. That one of the funniest side of the part here is university has no professors, but they want to increase the number of seats. Hospitals, they have no doctors, but they want to increase the beds. Don't you think this is a dangerous promise that you're going to give to the people, saying that I'm going to do it at no cost? It happened in Rajasthan. I want to bring it notice to the audience. One of the doctors studied a subject in YouTube. Hope you understand. Tomorrow, imagine they'll come into operation watching a YouTube. Hope you're not an Arvind Reddy movie. We are doing it something. We want something and do it, but something else. Hope you understand. The problem is it right? Is it dangerous to give assurance to people?
When they're saying about increasing of seats. Yeah, when they're speaking of increasing the seats in medical colleges, I strongly appreciate it from the government side, because right now look at the amount of money that which the students are paying to become doctors. And majority of them who couldn't afford are going to Ukraine, look at the problems it happened when there was a war. And one of my friend's son is studying in some other countries like this, in one of the nearby Russian countries, I forget the name, for 30 lakhs. So if you increase the number of seats, then probably this price also would come down, that's one thing. And the availability of the doctors is below the WHO norms in India. So it's good that you increase it. And the second part is infrastructure, which Abhinandan rightly pointed out, because that is very crucial. Without the teachers, if you enhance the seats, then it's of no use. Probably now the government will look into that. That's what my positive feeling is. In case if they don't do it, then it is of no use. If you go by yourself, learn by yourself, your YouTube video will teach, no way.
AI is coming.
Even then, how to use AI also, you should be taught. And for the doctors also, specific training is required. For an agriculturist, specific training is there. How to prompt AI and get the responses for a doctor is different from what an economist will do. How exactly I will be creative in getting the answers also, enabled to get the more creative replies also. So for that also it is required. And hence, once on the one side, this is good, the other side is let them also take it very seriously and see that the teachers who teach them are also in sufficient number, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Nowadays, teaching is also lucrative in the terms of salary, and it is attracting the best pool. Earlier, teachers means you used to say a poor teacher who was unable to get salary, but now the same case is not there. In the elite institutions, in the prestigious institutions, right, they are getting a good salary. The same with Sheshadripuram college also. So it is just an assumption, I don't know, because madam is not seeing me, she's clever. So with that assumption, but overall, the salary in the teaching field has increased. And nowadays, even you're not getting a good teachers, when they call for the appointment, but basically I was one of the central universities where the advertised for the professor post. We couldn't get a suitable person. Though they had worked with JNO, worked with NIT, so many places they were telling us. But fine, we asked them the very basics of the things that it was required by that individual, but he couldn't answer. So we said, no, let them recall, other than simply appointing the waste fellow, idle waste fellows. That's the word. Is better. So these kinds of things is there. One is quality. There should be good quality teachers. Another is students' capacity or the students' intake also should be increased. So both teachers should be of a quality teachers, students should get a quality education. That's what
Sir, as I told, there is the exemption has been given. There's definitely the income in your hand. So I have two options. One is save, other one is spend. Definitely now, saving has gone. What comes, I spend. What I comes, I enjoy. You think in economy this is good?
Another 5-10 minutes.
We'll stick to our time.
Yes.
Our 5 minutes will wind up. Okay.
The tendency is that basically, Akshay answered for this question, but still, there was in 1930s and 40s there was a debate on this issue between the Gurley and Sean Radcliffe conversation, we call it. So already this discussion came, whether interest rate should be high so that the people would save, or whether the interest rate should be low so that the people will spend. These type of arguments, discussions are already there. Basically, Indian economy is a savings economy. Whether you like it or not, by default, in our blood, we do save. But how to make this people spend is an issue now in India. Some 7 years back in the economic survey, one chapter was devoted for the new features of the Indian economy, wherein they were saying how to make it, India as a spending economy is a new characteristic feature. So it's very tough. Even, he was asking the questions, how many would wait? For both the students have been rising. This is how India is, honestly. Even now also, that's what I was saying, marginal propensity to consume will be 0.5%. Another 50% they would save only. So that whether your interest rate is low, whether your interest rate is high, no matter. Whenever you get 100 rupees, save little. But how to make you spend is the one which we are worried now. If you spend on more, if you spend.
I think the economy, what I'm seeing now, what we have read about, there's no more savings. We are more of expenditure is taking place. And if you see what 2009 and 2011, Euro crisis and US crisis, I don't know what age you belongs to in 2009 and 2011. But still, if I could come across or read somewhere, India was not affected much. But today, if tomorrow any crisis comes, we will be very adversely affected.
No. See, all these things we do here, but look at the household savings rate in the country. Not much changed. Now, all these things we say about youngsters are not worried about tomorrow, they want to spend everything, bindas, jina, fine. But still, look at the household savings. What is your household savings? You can compare that with the Europe or even much higher. So that is the reason that I am saying, with this new generation X coming also, right, all of you belongs to Gen X, but still, whether in case if your income increases, then what is that you will be doing? How much will you be spending? How much will you be saving? If you spend on more, if you spend.
I think the economy, what I'm seeing now, what we have read about, there's no more savings. We are more of expenditure is taking place. And if you see what 2009 and 2011, Euro crisis and US crisis, I don't know what age you belongs to in 2009 and 2011. But still, if I could come across or read somewhere, India was not affected much. But today, if tomorrow any crisis comes, we will be very adversely affected.
No. See, all these things we do here, but look at the household savings rate in the country. Not much changed. Now, all these things we say about youngsters are not worried about tomorrow, they want to spend everything, bindas, jina, fine. But still, look at the household savings. What is your household savings? You can compare that with the Europe or even much higher. So that is the reason that I am saying, with this new generation X coming also, right, all of you belongs to Gen X, but still, whether in case if your income increases, then what is that you will be doing? How much will you be spending? How much will you be saving? So now government is trying to incentivize you towards the spending rather than saving. If it happens again, it comes back to the economy only. It is not that it will go out of the economy. It will be in the part of the economy. And it will definitely, this government decision of giving 1 trillion rupees to the public will definitely enable and increase more economic activities. And you can see the growth rate they are expecting is 6.4 to 6.8%. But I'm sure it will cross 7% because of this time.
Okay, I think we have come to the end of this discussion. I think we had an elaborated discussion. Still, I hope we had an elaborated discussion. This is basically a discussion that you took thought about, objective about, the idea about, the budget is all about. Before I conclude, I request my panel members not to take more than a minute. Any question from audience? Yeah, please. Can somebody give a mic for them? Mic. Give a round of applause to him. Your good name and you can tell your question.
Sir, my name is Arun. Sir, I have a doubt. ಇವಾಗ ನೀವೇನು ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ಇವಾಗ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿರೋದಂಗೆ ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಬೇರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಒಬ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಒಂದು ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಎಲ್ಲ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಒಂದು ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲ್ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜನ ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ EMI ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇವಾಗ EMI ಒಂದು ಬೈಕ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಕಾರ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಹೋಮ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಮನೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಅದರಿಂದ EMI ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು, EMI ಇಂದ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಪವರ್ ಕೂಡ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಎಕನಾಮಿ ಕೂಡ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಕೂಡ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಕೂಡ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನೀವು ಏನ್ ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಸರ್?
Anybody can take or can I also take? Anybody can just
ನಿನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಉತ್ತರ ಇದೆ,
ಮೂರು ಇದೆ.
ಅದೇ ಉತ್ತರ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಿನಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದೇ ಉತ್ತರ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ನಿನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಮನೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಷ್ಟು ಕೇಪಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಇದ್ದು ಅಷ್ಟು ಲೋನ್ ನಿನ್ಗೆ ಎಲಿಜಿಬಲ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಮನೆ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಡಿಸೈರ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಒಂದು ಗಾಡಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಓಡಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ತಪ್ಪಲ್ಲ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು EMI ಕಟ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾನು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಹಾಕೋದೇನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ EMI ಕಟ್ಟುವ ಶಕ್ತಿ ನನಗೆ 40% 30% ಆಫ್ ಮೈ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಹಾಕೋಬೇಕು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀನು ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅನದರ್ 10-15% ನಾನು ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಇನ್ನಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಇದು ನನಗೆ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ತಂದ್ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ 5 ವರ್ಷ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ, 6 ವರ್ಷ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನ ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೋ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಅದು GST ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಬಹುಶಃ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಲೆಟರ್ ಬರಿಬಹುದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ಬರೆಯೋಣ. ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ.
So
ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಡೂ ಇಟ್. ನಾನು ಬರೀತೀನಿ, ನೀವು ಬರೀ.
see GST as I said, GST Council, ಎಲ್ಲ state representative like sir. By this, any note that you can able to tell about the budget? 130 seconds. All you can also speak.
Overall budget, if you go line by line, dissect it line by line also, it is really a far-sighted, foresighted budget, and really a good budget. Only thing is the implementation part of it should be complete. Last year also they said 11.11 trillion would be spent on capex, but what they spent was 10.36 trillion. That should not happen. Every 3 months the government should release the money and it should clearly tell us for whom it reached, which sector, how much money, what was the impact. In case if this impact analysis for every 3 months is done, then probably it will be good.
The discussion. Overall, if you see the budget, the government is trying to take the new approach, the new growth for the development. There is a greater challenge from the globally as it was never before. There is a geopolitics which is playing a key role to build trade relations. So far, India is growing a little idealistic, but there are some setbacks that we have to identify, that has to be addressed with respect to unemployment, with respect to inflation. It is very important to see to that what governments need to approach for the new game plan to achieve the mission of Viksit Bharat 2047. With this, I would like to conclude the panel discussion. I also thank the institution and the management for giving an opportunity for being a part of this program. I thank you all once again.